Donc, on va commencer d'abord par les dernières halachot de Ben Ish Chai, deuxième année, Parashat Yitro. So we will first start with the last halachot of the Parashat Yitro in the Ben Ish Chai, with the laws of Techina, squeezing and so on, avec les lois d'écraser, qu'on avait commencé déjà, les rattacher. So, il dit comme ça, il dit à la 14, il est permis d'écraser, excusez-moi, il est permis d'écraser dans de l'eau de sucre candi. Donc on voit bien que là, sucre candi, ce n'est pas le Ben Ish Chai qui l'a écrit. C'est moderne qui comprend et interprète la logique du Ben Ish Chai dans ce qui va dire comme halakha. Dans la version française, on comprend bien ça. So we understand from the first line that we are not in the word of the Ben Ish Chai, because in the time of Ben Ish Chai, there is no trademark about sugar called candy. Il n'y a pas de sucre qui s'appelle candy à l'époque du Ben Ish Chai. Donc si il le cite, c'est qu'il est en train de parler d'une forme de... Il interprète. Donc il dit venant d'Europe, qui se présente sous forme de gros morceaux durs et de le faire fondre. So I said, basically, is it permit when you have this you know, we call it, you know, sugar which are square. You take it, is it permit to put it inside of, let's say, is it permit to squeeze it or to scratch it on Shabbat? Un carreau de sucre, est-ce qu'il est permis de faire, d'écraser un carreau de sucre à Shabbat? Donc la réponse, elle est oui. The answer is yes. He said, et de le faire fondre, even to make it liquid, et de le rendre, et de le faire fondre. Rayolam indique qu'on peut faire fondre le sucre de ses propres mains parce qu'il est considéré comme un aliment. So I said basically, even it's permits to do it with your own hands because the sugar is considered like a nutriment. Il est permis de faire ça avec les propres mains parce que le sucre est considéré comme un aliment. Après, il dit, just fix something. Ça il dit comme ça, c'est like this. Il dit, je reprends en détail ce qu'il dit dans le Rav Peali et écrit qu'il faut distinguer entre le sucre et la neige ou la glace et que par conséquent même Maranzal qui établit qu'il est défendu de faire fondre de la glace dans l'eau admettra que c'est permis pour le sucre. Et c'est why? C'est because sugar, even if it's like it can have the aspect of ice or the aspect of snow, is not in the same category because ice and snow, they are not nutriment. Parce que la glace et la neige, ce n'est pas des aliments. Donc, on ne peut pas appliquer la logique de la glace et de la neige sur le sucre. Parce que toute la question, c'est ça, est-ce que je peux le faire fondre à Shabbat? All the question basically is to know, am I allowed to change its aspect on Shabbat, to bring sugar to be more liquid? He said, first of all, yes. Why? Because sugar is nutriment. Why? Snow and ice, they are not. Pourquoi? Parce que d'abord, c'est un aliment, pas comme la glace et la neige. Après, il dit, J'écris également que même ceux qui se montrent plus stricts à propos du yaourt et ne le délayent pas dans l'eau comme on le fait dans notre ville, pourront faire dissoudre le sucre sans aucune hésitation, sans qu'il soit nécessaire d'être plus strict. Donc, il dit après, l'exemple qu'on a pris avant du yaourt en poussière à Shabbat dans lequel tu mets de l'eau, que le Ben Israël a permis à Bagdad, il dit même il n'y a pas besoin d'avoir d'hésitation s'il s'agit de mettre du sucre dedans. Et c'est basically also, according to what we saw last time, regarding this yogurt in powder, that you put some water inside of to make it food, you can eat it. He said, in that case, also don't have any hesitations to add inside of this yogurt sukkar, because it's normal, it's not a problem. Sukkar is not like snow and not like ice. This is the most important thing. That's why we are allowed to do it on Shabbat, to change its aspect on Shabbat. Donc, le point le plus important, c'est de comprendre que le sucre n'est pas comme la glace, n'est pas comme la neige. C'est pour ça qu'on a la permission de le changer à Shabbat. If not, si on n'avait pas la permission, it will be hard to drink things with sugar on Shabbat. Si on n'avait pas cette permission-là, il serait quasiment impossible de boire un thé sucré ou un café sucré à Shabbat. Because you have to take something which is sugar and to put in something to change these aspects. Am I allowed or not? Parce que tu devais prendre quelque chose qui a une forme de carreau et le transformer en liquide. J'avais le droit ou pas? Là, on voit que oui, on a le droit. Yes, we are allowed. Why? Because we are nourishment and not like snow and ice. Oui, on a le droit. Halakha 15, 15. Il faut interdire dans notre ville, if you want it in English, Eleazar, you can, the page you can see, it's here. You see here, number 2. No, this is 1. It's in the pay, it's in the after Yitro. Yitro number, now we just finished 14. Après, il dit, now 15. So I read in French, after you read in English, I'll be, how is the 15 show me? Sometimes they had a lot.
Soap may not be dissolved on Shabbat.
Yeah, show me how long is it? No, you can tell at your place, just also say how long. It is there? Yeah, okay. You read after me in English. Donc, il dit quoi? Il faut interdire dans notre ville également l'usage du savon en morceaux. Donc, on parle du savon de pain. You will read after. On parle du savon en morceaux. Quand on se sert pour se laver, en le mouillant et en le frottant entre les mains. Contrairement à Parchad, Yitzhak et Ginat Paradim qui l'autorisent. L'opinion qui doit prévaloir ici étant celle du Yad Acharon, qui est l'interdit de façon catégorique, car même si on l'utilise de savon avec de l'eau, il n'en reste pas moins que lorsque l'on le dissout dans la main, on ne voit pas d'eau sur le savon. Il n'est pas une vague sur le savon, si ce n'est une vague d'humidité. L'usage commun dans notre ville est donc de ne pas se laver avec du savon. On fait fondre le morceau de savon dans de l'eau avant Shabbat jusqu'à qu'elle soit complètement dissoute et on utilise ensuite cette eau pour se laver pendant Shabbat. So, read in English in a loud voice for the people on the internet.
Soap may not be dissolved on Shabbat, even according to the prevalent, lenient custom here in Baghdad. This ruling opposes the opinion of the Qada Yitzhak and the Ginat Rahim, who permitted. The final halakhic ruling must accord with the Yad Aron, who categorically forbids melting soap on Shabbat. It cannot be likened to melting snow or sugar because although water is used to help dissolve the soap, when it actually dissolves, pure water is not visible at all on it. Rather, a liquefied mixture caused by the water. Here in Baghdad, the custom is not to use the soap on Shabbat. Instead, some is dissolved in water before Shabbat, and that solution may then be used to wash with on Shabbat.
So same question, même question. On a tous du savon. We all know how is the soap, not the whole soap, in this form. So the question, one more time, la question c'est est-ce qu'on peut l'utiliser à Shabbat? Why? Because when I will start to use, it will change its aspect. It will start to be more liquid. Ben Ish Chai's position, he said no. Ben Ish Chai dit non. Even if you find some people like Pachad Yitzchak and Ginat Radim, they said yes to use soap on Shabbat. It is we. So, but the position of Ben Ish Chai is like this. He said why? He said the purpose why we give you authorization to use things on Shabbat, which will be changed their aspect, it's because you have to see mainly the water. Et dit l'objectif principal, pourquoi on te permet aussi d'utiliser les choses qui changent d'aspect le Shabbat, parce qu'on va continuer à avoir l'eau. When I put my sugar in the water, in the tea, I still my tea. He said, but if you use it for the soap, you will not see the water. Il fait, si tu utilises de l'eau pour le savon, l'eau, il est invisible. Tu vois que c'est humide, mais tu ne vois pas l'eau. He said, this is a problem. So he said, what is the solution? If you want to wash yourself on Shabbat, you see, for him, you can wash yourself. Tu peux te laver à Shabbat. Not a problem. Tu peux te laver à Shabbat, it's permit. He said, what do? You take a pot of soap that you cut and you dip it in water before Shabbat. Like this, you will become liquid. And after you will use that liquid as your shampoo, as your soap. You see how you wash on Shabbat? Comment vous lavez à Shabbat? This is the logical, c'est la logique. Any question? Il y a des questions pour ça? Tout est OK? It's OK? C'est bon, pas de questions? 16.
Non, ça va.
Ça va? Baruch Hashem. 16 says, on a l'habitude de tremper dans l'eau les abricots secs qu'on frotte ensuite entre les mains jusqu'à ce qu'ils s'écrasent et se réduisent complètement en purée diluée dans l'eau et qu'il ne reste plus que le noyau. J'indique dans mes capsules qu'il n'y a pas lieu de défendre cela en raison de l'interdiction de Memaek, lisser, puisque le Réma écrit qu'il est permis de lisser les aliments le Shabbat, cela n'étant pas considéré comme Memaek, sorry. Memachek. Car on pourrait également les consommer sans le faire. Or, on peut aussi manger les abricots secs une fois qu'ils sont trempés sans les réduire en purée. D'autre part, il n'y a pas lieu de craindre qu'il soit interdit de les écraser à la main. Mais, comme on l'a vu plus haut à propos du sucre, il faut cependant se demander s'il est permis de les tremper lorsqu'ils sont secs, au point de ne pas pouvoir les manger sans les faire tremper au préalable. Puisque le Réma écrit qu'il est interdit de tremper un aliment dur au point de ne pouvoir le consommer autrement, car cela est considéré comme une finition de travail. Chayei Adam indique à ce propos qu'on transgresse une interdiction, même si on trempe simplement cet aliment dans l'eau froide. Voir aussi la film qui enseigne que certains interdisent de tremper des fruits secs le Shabbat et qu'il est bon de les tremper déjà le vendredi. Ici, dans notre ville, il faut donc avertir les gens de ne pas les tremper le Shabbat, de ne pas tremper le Shabbat des abricots tellement desséchés qu'on ne pourrait les consommer sans trempage. So avant que j'explique, in English, Eliezer.
It is customary to soak dried apricots and mash them to pulp by hand. And in my work, me Kabizia, I conclude that it is permitted to do so on Shabbat. There is no infringement in this of a prohibition, me big Rabbanan, of spreading food, subsumed under the category of the prohibited work of scraping hides. as it is possible to eat the apricots after soaking them without preparing them like this. In the same way as the Rima Zoe permits spreading food onto bread on Shabbat, and in the same way that it is permitted to dissolve sugar. However, soaking the apricots is not permitted if they are so dry that they cannot be eaten without first being soaked. The Ramazal writes that anything which cannot be eaten as it is may not be soaked to make it edible, as this is considered putting the finishing touches to it. And the Ha Adham writes that this applies even to soaking in cold water. The Hesed La Alafin cites some authorities who forbid soaking fried fruit on Shabbat, and one should therefore put it in the water before Shabbat. It is thus important to warn people not to soak dried apricots if they are inedible before being soaked.
So you understand what he said? Ce qu'il dit, c'est comme ça. So basically, we are on the same question about dry fruit. All the purpose is always to know, am I allowed to change the aspect of something? La même question, c'est toujours là. Est-ce que j'ai l'autorisation de changer l'aspect de quelque chose? To make it more soft, to squeeze it, or to scratch it, or to crush it. Donc, est-ce que je peux lisser, je peux changer, est-ce que je peux changer l'apparence? He said, the most important point here is like this. Le point le plus important ici, il est comme ça. I'm not allowed to do it if without that water where I will put my fruit, that fruit may not be able to be eaten. Je n'ai pas le droit de tremper un fruit si jamais, sans le trempage, il n'était pas mangeable. Why? Because if I do that, it's called that I am finishing a work. Si je fais ça, ça veut dire que je suis en train de finir un travail. And this is forbidden on Shabbat. We don't finish any kind of task on Shabbat. On ne finit pas un travail le Shabbat en rendant quelque chose utilisable, mangeable ou applicable. By making something which will be now useful, eatable or applicable. Any question about this? Il y a des questions par rapport à ça?
It's for food. Isn't it for food? You're allowed to work for food.
No. You're allowed to do work for food on Yom Tov because it's what we call Ochel Nefesh. You're not allowed to cook, not allowed to transform anything. So now the question is asking Ben Ishai is, if I put dry apricots in water, am I cooking or doing something forbidden? So he said, if your apricot state before you put them in the water were not eatable, it means that you putting them in the water, you make it
like cooking.
Exactly. Final one. Halakha 17, Halakha 17. Il dit, on n'a pas le droit, après on a fini, on n'a pas le droit de préparer le Shabbat, une boisson gazeuse acidulée que les gens bien portants boivent et qui ne tombent pas sous le coup de breuvage destiné aux malades. On la prépare à base de sel de citron qu'on mélange à du sucre et de l'eau et on y ajoute du soda, du bicarbonate de soude. Il se produit une réaction effervescente et on la boit aussitôt après. J'indique dans une réponse de Rav Pehalim qu'il est permis de préparer cette boisson le Shabbat sans crainte de transgresser l'interdiction de cuire, bien que l'effervescence provoque un bouillonnement. Ni l'interdiction de nolad, créer une chose nouvelle, l'effervescence, du fait que cela ressemble à un travail. Je cite à ce propos le Imre Bina qui parle de ce cas et se demande si cela ne ressemble pas à Make Betpatish, finir un travail. Et s'il ne faut pas interdire au même titre que les salaisons, etc. Il faut, etc. Il laisse la question en suspens. Mais après avoir bien réfléchi à tous les aspects de ce problème, je conclus finalement qu'il est permis de préparer cette boisson.
In my work, Rav Pehalim, I discussed the subject matter of making soda water on Shabbat. The method popular here is to mix dried lemon concentrate with sugar and water and to add soda to produce a bubbling effect. I conclude that it is permitted to make it on Shabbat as the bubbling has no connection with cooking, and neither are the bubbles any sort of new creation that could be likened to any sort of work. I cite the Imre, Rina, Addenda, and Areta, who considers whether it may perhaps be considered putting the finishing touches to an object, or perhaps pickling, and does not resolve the question raised. I discuss the points raised and conclude that it is permitted to make soda water on Shabbat.
Donc, il dit quoi? What is the question behind? It's basically it's about making kind of limonade. But d'ailleurs, c'est est-ce que je peux faire de la limonade à Shabbat? It's not hard to do limonade. You take lemon. C'est pas juste une limonade. Tu prends du citron. You take sugar. And you take bicarbonate. I don't know what you say in English. Bicarbonate de soude. Comment tu dis ça?
Soda.
Baking soda.
Yeah, baking soda.
Okay, baking soda. It's easy. And like this, you can do limonade on Shabbat. So the question is, are you allowed or not to do that? Tu as le droit ou pas de faire ça. He said, for the Ben Ish Chai, for us, there's no problem. Il n'y a pas de problème. Why? Because you are not creating something new. You are not boiling, because sometimes when it's effervescent, you say, how do you say? When you have bubbles.
Yeah, bubbles.
Bubbling?
Yeah.
So sometimes people say that bubbling can be associated to cooking or boiling. Say, no, it's not boiling.
It doesn't transform anything.
Exactly. So he said, there's many questions about this, but you know, in country like Baghdad, when it's very hot in summer, people, they like that kind of drinks. So you have to know how to make it permit. He said, there's no problem because you're not finishing work, you are not boiling anything, and you are not creating something new. And he said, want to see more details? We have the book here, Rav Pealim is answering about why, if it's permit, there's no problem. Can be.
What about the lemon, the squeezing of the lemon? Because I know, like for the Ashkenazim, they can't squeeze lemon on Shabbat. So for the lemonade, like I know my grandmother, what she used to do, she would not squeeze it, she would put the lemon pieces in the lemonade.
Now, there's no problem for that. First of all, you are allowed to squeeze lemon on liquid. It's permit.
Okay.
Second of all, you are also allowed to squeeze it on nutrition, on food, when you eat it straight. You're not supposed to say, no, I'll squeeze on my salad and I eat my salad tomorrow.
Okay.
No, you are allowed. So based on that, there's no problem to squeeze it. Yeah. You can put some base water.
Yeah.
The best is to put the lemon first, because if you put water first, by squeezing the lemon, you change the color, you're colored. So what you put, you squeeze for the lemon in your bottom, and after you put the water, that's the way you can do it.
So yeah. Okay. So you don't have to do the lemon. According to what you're saying, you put the lemon first. You don't have to have food and then.
Yes. Why? Because if you do the opposite, you color the water.
I understand.
So you are allowed to squeeze the lemon because you will be using it like that, because it's the way to eat it.
Yeah.
The juice is inside. So if I want the juice, I have to squeeze. He said, but what is forbidden is to squeeze on the nutrition that you will not eat straight. And you will wait even after you squeeze it in the morning, you will eat that salad in the afternoon as well.
So this is a big difference between Ashkenazim and
yes.
Also, what you said about the what. So according to Ashkenazim, you can't use any soap on Shabbat. You can't even have a shower.
Yeah, that's why I say the Ashkenazi word. It's not my word. It's another word.
So you can't have a hot shower.
Of course you can. If you eat your water before Shabbat and you have the boiler, and the water is still cold, is still hot. Exactly. You wash. What's the problem? And even the dud shemesh, if your water became hot by the shemesh, it's mutar. Why? Because the heat of the sun is not the heat of the man's hand, and the heat of the sun, Ben Ish Chai, is from Olam Haba. So there's no problem in it. He said you can put an egg under the sun of the shemesh and eat it on Shabbat. What's wrong?
because in Iraq in those days, you still had 50 degrees. It was very, very hot. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So here is what on a fini. We finished the halachot yitro year 2. I just want now to give to you the list of the 39 melachot. Je veux juste vous donner la liste des 39 travaux. I send the picture in the group and I share my screen for those who are. Let me just picture it. Share my screen with you. You see my screen is good? Voyez mon écran. Here is. So, if you please help me in English sometime, I will explain to you. So what are the 39 forbidden melachot? C'est quoi les 39 melachot interdits en Shabbat? Zorear, planter, to roots. Yes, that's that.
Like when you plant
Plant.
something,
Plant. Choresh, labourer, to
Plow.
plow.
Flourish is the plow.
To plow. Kotser, moissonner. Moissonner.
Rip out. Yeah. But it's cut.
Report.
Ripped, cut, I think. Yeah.
OK. Ma'amer, mettre en germe.
Shift, yeah, he's right. With your flour, you shift the flour. It's
No,
like
no. It's like you take all of them and you create like what when Yosef dreamed. He saw that
gather.
yeah,
Get sheaf of hay.
exactly
gathering.
the sheep, like you said.
Yeah.
To dash, battre la récolte. It's a battre la récolte.
Threshing the harvest.
Threshing the harvest.
Exactly. This is forbidden. 6. Zoré, vanner.
Zorek, right?
We know.
Yeah.
That's we know.
As to Rabbi Elazar knows, he's in this stuff. He works in agriculture.
We know.
Well, like you fan or
You
something.
use
like
the wind to
Yeah.
to do the
Separation.
separation.
Yeah.
On a dit trier, borer, to separate.
Yeah.
Moudre, tochen, what we saw today. To squeeze, to trina, like you, to grind. Grind. Tamiser, meraked.
To sift.
Good?
Sift, yeah, separation. Yes.
Shift, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pétrir, to lash, what you do with the dough.
Yeah. Knead.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the
Cuire,
yes.
au fait, it's like to cook the dough. Au fait. Tondre. No, lash, it's in
Sorry?
Hebrew.
Mow.
Lash means pétrir.
Mow.
Mo?
No, when you
Mo. Yeah,
No.
the hair. It's cut.
To lash, it's in Hebrew. it means in France, pétrir,
Ah, pétri.
Du coup, tombe, c'est mauve.
tomorrow. 13, sauver, teindre, to change the color, to tint.
Dye.
Yeah.
Filage, torsion du fil. Filage, to sauver.
Comment tu fais avec un seul L?
Oui.
Spinning. Spinning? Spinning?
Spinning, yep.
What do you mean spinning? What's you're not allowed to spin things on Shabbat?
No. You know, you see the store here where they do kippot.
Yeah.
Next to the change.
Yeah.
It has a whole matching, a whole thing. It's the king. It's the strings.
Yeah, spinning. Yeah. Together. Yeah.
Spinning that way or
Like this.
Yeah.
It has the whole machine. Après, former, une chaîne de tissage. It's like it's always in the spinning, but now you form a whole channel.
To mold, to how to say it, to form, to make, to develop, to shape.
Okay.
Okay.
So one thing was the material itself, and one thing is to make something out of it.
No, one thing is the first action.
Yeah.
Just I start to do it.
Yeah.
And after I do it so long that I create a whole
Yeah.
fabric.
Yeah.
It's like this. Ose shne bate nirim, installer un métier à tisser. Donc, to settle that machinery. Say, I want to create that machinery now. Now, why do you want to do it? Because if you do it, you will start to do this. So don't do it. Après, oreg shne chutim, tisser. Donc, ça, c'est tisser.
Oui.
Après, détisser. To what you weaved, now you remove it.
Okay.
To deweaved. Unweaved.
So
Noué.
it's like the finishing touches to the garments, right? So you finish.
Yes, for example. Kosher, noué, it's to make knots,
Not yet.
to tie. Dénouer, to
Untie.
untie. Coudre, dénouer. Nouer, dénouer.
this way?
Hein?
This
So,
way.
yes,
No,
yes.
no, that way.
So,
What's the difference between weaving and sewing?
Tell me, weaving and so what was weaving?
It was the first one, oreg, sheni,
Oreg, chenille,
it was
and
and the last one.
cool.
because when you are weaving, you are basically creating a fabric. It's not about you create a fabric. The sewing, you connect two fabrics.
Okay, got it.
After,
Would you like a
découdre, en dessous. After, tendre des pièges. C'est ça, to hunt. C'est chasser.
Set a trap.
Yeah, to hunt. C'est chasser.
Ouais.
Égorger, to slaughter. Interdit de slaughter. Dépouiller. Basically, you remove the skin of what you slaughtered. How do you say?
To strike the
Sure.
Strip. Tanning.
tanning?
No, not tanning. Tanning, it's like you make it change the color. But no,
No, you make the tanning means when you make the skin ready.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is that tanning. Lisser, to make soft, to smooth, from smoothie.
Yeah.
Gratter, to scratch. Couper, to cut. Écrire, to write. Effacer, to erase. Construire, to build. Démolir, to destroy. Allumer un feu, to light a fire. Éteindre, to switch off that fire.
Yeah.
Donner un dernier coup, to give a final hit to finish a work. Transporter du privé au public, to move things from private domain and public domain.
Yeah.
This is the main halachot we're going to see them one after the other. So now, I was planning to study Tanhuma, but it's time for the Yerushalmi. So we got the Yerushalmi. Je pensais faire 10 minutes d'alachot. Après, I was thinking doing 10 minutes of alachot. We did 1 hour. Oh, okay.
Sadiq, I'll be on the time.
Yerushalmi, Bezrat Hashem.